Pride Month is here. Every June in the United States is set aside for Pride Month to commemorate the Stonewall riots and to celebrate the LGBT plus community and raise awareness for ongoing struggles, equal rights, and acceptance of LGBTs. How should Christians react to this? Should we endorse Pride Month or should we condemn Pride Month? And if so, how? That's what I'm going to be talking about in this video. But before I do that, make sure to subscribe to my channel and click the bell so you get notified about my future videos. Okay, so the idea about equal rights and acceptance of members of the LGBT plus community is one that Christians should endorse. Equal rights refers to the idea that all people should be treated equally and have the same opportunities and protections under the law, which includes members of the LGBT plus community. There are several Bible verses that endorse this. For example, Leviticus chapter 19 verse 15 states, "You shall do no injustice in judgment. You shall not be partial to the poor, nor honor the person of the mighty. In righteousness you shall judge your neighbor." In other words, everyone should be treated equally. This includes people living an LGBT plus lifestyle. For instance, how would you like to be discriminated against for being a Christian? It happens every day all over the world. In some countries, Christians are marginalized, persecuted, and even killed for their faith. And just because somebody is living a lifestyle that you or I don't approve of doesn't mean that we have the right to mistreat them. Jesus said in Matthew chapter 7 verse 12, "Therefore, whatever you want men to do to you, do also to them, for this is the law and the prophets." We should treat others how we want to be treated. It doesn't matter if they're poor, alcoholic, or gay. They shouldn't be discriminated against. With that being said, should Christians endorse the LGBT plus lifestyle? No, the Bible is clear. That is a sin. For example, Leviticus chapter 18 verse 22 says, "You shall not lie with a male as with a woman. It is an abomination." This applies both to gay and lesbian relationships, and the word abomination means something especially offensive to God. The reason being is because their sexual behavior contradicts God's will. From the beginning, God created man and woman in His image and instituted marriage as a union between the two and commanded them to procreate. Genesis chapter 1 verse 27 says, "So God created man in His own image. In the image of God, He created him, male and female, He created them. Then God blessed them, and God said to them, 'Be fruitful and multiply, fill the earth and subdue it.'" Same-sex unions contradict this plan, and they are harmful as well. For example, gay men are at higher risk of STDs and AIDS. An online post entitled "STD Facts: What Gay, Bisexual, and Other Men Who Have Sex with Men Need to Know About Sexually Transmitted Diseases" states, "While anyone who has sex can get an STD, sexually active gay, bisexual, and other men who have sex with men, MSM, are at greater risk. In addition to having higher rates of syphilis, more than half of all new HIV infections occur among MSM. And practicing anal sex is harmful." An online post entitled "What You Don't Know About Anal Sex, A Gastroenterologist Explains" states, "What is the association between anal sex and fecal incontinence?" The authors found that receiving anal sex results in a 34% increased risk of fecal incontinence in women and a 119% increased risk of fecal incontinence in men. For the purposes of the study, fecal incontinence was defined as a leakage of liquid or solid stool or mucus, at least monthly. Look, I know this may not be a comfortable topic to talk about. I don't like talking about it either, but I have to let you know the dangers. Also, gay and lesbian relationships are detrimental to society. Imagine what would happen if everyone became gay or lesbian today. How long do you think humanity would survive? Not very long, because gay and lesbian relationships can't reproduce children. What about transgenderism? A lot of people are talking about that today, and well, biblically, your sex and your gender are the same. If you're born with male anatomy, you're a male, and vice versa. There's nothing in the Bible to indicate otherwise. Biology confirms this. Female DNA typically has 2 X chromosomes, while male DNA typically has 1 X and 1 Y chromosome. No matter how much makeup you put on or how many surgeries you get, you can't change that. So you are always biologically the gender that you were born. Not to mention, transgenders dress as the opposite sex, which the Bible condemns. Deuteronomy chapter 22 verse 5 says, "A woman shall not wear anything that pertains to a man, nor shall a man put on a woman's garment. For all who do so are an abomination to the Lord your God." Not to mention, some transgender people get involved in same-sex relationships, which leads to a whole host of other problems, like I described earlier. In addition, LGBT plus people suffer higher rates of mental disorders, including depression, anxiety, and suicidal thoughts. And this can be a result of the prejudice and discrimination they face, along with the fear and stress of concealing their identity. One more thing I'd like to talk about is pride marches. You can expect to see a lot of those this month. How should Christians react? My opinion is that LGBTs have just as much of a right to do pride marches as Christians have a right to do public evangelism. They have the legal right. Now, would you catch me at a pride march? Never. 1 Thessalonians chapter 5 verse 22 says, "Abstain from every form of evil." You don't want to associate yourself with something that is sinful. So my advice to you is just to avoid pride marches. Another thing, I see videos on YouTube sometimes of Christians doing public evangelism during pride marches, and it looks like it leads to more arguments and conflicts than conversions. So it's probably just best to completely stay away. People don't go to pride marches to hear the gospel, and when you interrupt their pride march with bullhorns and Bible texts, more often than not, they just get offended. Big thanks to everyone who supports my ministry with your prayers and donations. Your support helps keep my channel going to reach more people with the gospel. If you'd like to donate to my ministry, you can make a one-time PayPal donation or a monthly Patreon pledge. Any amount is appreciated. You can find links to my PayPal and Patreon accounts in the video description. LGBT plus people are people too, and we should treat them how we want to be treated. We may not approve of their lifestyle, but they have the same right to equal rights as we do. The Bible is clear the LGBT lifestyle is sinful. But when you have an opportunity, you should share the gospel with LGBT people. But during pride marches is probably not the right time and place for that. Instead, if you know any LGBTs, treat them with love and respect. Form a friendship with them. Then maybe they will open up to you and you can share your faith. Matthew chapter 27 verses 21 through 23 is one of the scariest passages in the Bible. There, some professed believers who call Jesus Lord are condemned by Jesus and denied entry into heaven. He tells them, "I never knew you. Depart from me, you who practice lawlessness." Why would Jesus refuse to allow these professed Christians into heaven? And could that happen to you? Find out by clicking on the screen to watch my video entitled, "This Could Be the Scariest Verse in the Entire Bible." If you enjoyed this video, please like it and share it to help spread God's word. Thank you for watching, and God bless you.